Collective, make no mistake. You do have everyone's attention, right? Everyone's eyes are on you. But I think that there is almost like this feeling that you are alone, or perhaps even like you just kind of dazed, right? You're out of your mind in certain aspects. It's like, to me, the Ten of Swords is given dissociation, right? It's dissociative. It's I'm not all there. Like I can feel that I'm not all there. I can feel that certain things are making me react a certain way, but I'm trying to shove that down. I'm trying to ignore that, or I'm trying to put my best smile on, my best mask on, to pretend like nothing's wrong, even though everything feels wrong. It's a heavy discomfort. 10 of Wands. Like as I said in the last collective, that most of these things that are coming up are going to be very uncomfortable. But another way to look at this is growth in general is just uncomfortable. Figuring out your patterns, actually looking at yourself in the mirror, being able to not pretend anymore and start thinking about yourself in a more positive light. It takes a lot of fucking groundwork, and the groundwork starts, of course, with removing toxicity. Of course, it starts with changing the way you communicate to yourself, the way you digest certain information. If you look at this card right here, the Knight of Swords is a representation of immaturity. Even though this man looks quite mature, right? This man looks quite mature. He's putting on a face. He's putting on a mask. He's mature. He's paternal. He's mature. He's maternal. He has his shit together. Or that's what his image, like his outer image, communicates to the rest of the world. But really, how he feels on the inside is that he's dying. It's that he's stuck. That he's past his prime, or he's trapped. Page of Pentacles, it feels like he's trapped, you know what I mean? It feels like he's stuck in a never-ending cycle, a loop-de-loop, right? And it just keeps going up and down and up and down, the same thing every single fucking day, or the same type of like fluctuation every single fucking day. That's something that most people can't take. Especially if you are in a relationship, especially if you are kind of in limbo yourself, just within work. You want everything to go up. You want things to boost. You want to see what you put into your work be valuable to others. You don't want to keep living in this false reality, Six of Cups, false reality, which is like, okay, well, eventually, this has to just blow up for me, or eventually this has to be something that I get something fruitful from. But like relationship wise, work wise, everything that you haven't been receiving will be received in a different way. And I talked about that as well in the last collective, but this is mostly centering around like emotionally, right? Emotional satisfaction. You feeling satisfied is a you issue, right? You not feeling satisfied with a situation or connection is a you issue. And you need to realize that sooner rather than later, because as you kind of create this Queen of Cups in your head space, mind space, feeling very, very tender, emotional, and kind of I wouldn't say sad, maybe on the more like depressed spectrum, or the spectrum of like feeling like you aren't you, like a pretender or imposter syndrome, right? As you kind of keep feeling like that Ace of Pentacles, it's like self-control becomes a lot harder. Everything becomes, a day-to-day basis, where some days you can control yourself and other days you completely break down. And a breakdown could mean dissociation, a breakdown could mean anger, a breakdown could mean sadness, it can be frustration, it can feel misguided. Like, okay, is this me? Am I going wild? Am I going crazy? Am I going insane? All of your old coping mechanisms are no longer working. And that's why I want to stress there is growth here. There are things to look deeper into. There are things that you're overlooking that might not necessarily always, click for you, because you're not looking from the outside looking in. You're looking from the direct perspective of said person. Now, I'm not saying just let anyone in your life to dictate and control and tell you what's up with you, but at the same time, it's the people closest to you that will notice a change in your behavior. I notice a change in your stress, your stressors, right, or your coping mechanisms, or your health. And I feel like that's something that's also been called to question, but it's called a question in the means of not because people are judging you. It's not because, your partner or whoever is judging you. And if they are, like, fuck that. Like, If they're just being an asshole to be an asshole, fuck that. If this is a case of someone is letting you know, perspective wise, that judgment is here, like that help is here, that support is here and near and very dear to you. It's close to you. It's closer than you think, type shit. It's tangible. The Hangman, I've been stuck in life, but I don't know how to communicate that or explain it. But the Emperor is here. Okay, there is a person, there is a support, there is a fund or a program for people like you. There is a group or a spiritual group, perhaps, or astrology group that is for people like you. There is a place where you belong. 8 of Cups, where you don't feel disengaged and sent out and abandoned, and it's not insisted that you become a different person than who you really are. You know what I mean? You are you. And that's it. There's no expectation other than bringing yourself to the table, right? And that feels good to know, right? It feels good to know that there is that for you, collective. It feels good to know, but you're still hesitant. You still don't believe in that, or you don't believe that there is something like that for you. But King of Swords shows that even though you're roughing it, toughing it, and even though you're kind of like, you feel like you're collapsing at times, there is always something or someone to lift you out of that. There is some instance that completely disrupts that. Like once you start getting real down low on yourself, and you start beating yourself up, or you start like making like constant mistakes in your professional life, not realizing that your personal life is kind of bleeding in. Like there's so many different cycles and so many different things involved with the mental, involved with your head, that are going on right now. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to go through the throes of these high emotions, because the only way you're going to learn how to deal with it is if you know where it stems from, if you know where it comes from. And you need to be able to not suppress, right? Controlling your emotions doesn't involve suppression. It involves regulation. So coping mechanisms, right? Doing things that make you feel better within that moment, not things like drinking, not addictive things that make you suppress further, because smoking weed and drinking helps you suppress the emotion and suppress the feeling. It gives you that feeling of flying high and floating above the motherfucking clouds, but it doesn't give you that security that you need. You need security, you need comfort, you need support, and whether that be drawing, music, anything that's not heavily, into that depressive territory of action. So like no sleeping all fucking day. Like even so, one thing I just learned, not something that I've been very forward about, but at least on social media, but I just learned a couple of different things about how certain other people's depression works, right? I've been to this place in my life, so I don't necessarily know how I forgot, but at times of depression comes in like, the inability to take care of yourself, or feel like you're nothing, right? It's almost like you erase your existence. And I'm going to pull out a card just because I want to be clear enough so that Spirit understand. Yes, 9 of Cups in her. So exactly what I was just saying. It becomes a thing of you erase yourself from the world, right? But the world refuses to erase you. You might erase yourself in your mind. You might get pulled back in your mind, but the world always sees you. People always sees you. One person always sees you. An animal always sees you. Someone always notices that you're there. You can't stand in the corner with a lampshade on your head. You can't turn into the fucking ghost and just ghost off the fucking internet, or ghost out of your family life, or ghost out of everything. Though you wish it in that moment. It's proof to you when somebody notices or supports or loves you, even when you're rejecting it, even when you're afraid of rejection. 9 of Cups is like, I struggle to get out of the fucking bed in the morning. I struggle to shower, do basic needs, basic things. And this is how you know you've kind of come to that stage of like, instead of questioning whether there's something wrong with me, right? Which there is something, but it doesn't mean you're wrong. I wanted to make that clear, because I've been through therapy myself, even in the process of wanting to go back to therapy, I've learned that there's so many things that correlate to just one behavior. There's so many different little connections. The reason why you do certain things, the reason why you feel a certain way. There's so many little things. obviously to cherry pick each and every little thing is difficult to do within one sitting or one period with a therapist, with a family member or whoever. But you know the nooks and the crannies. Okay, you can go back to those situations and you can reflect on them. Even still, it just helps when you have like the third party or the supportive element. Okay, so collective, the supportive element that you've been seeking out is coming. It's here. In fact, it's here. 9 of Cups in reverse. Like I said, you are not going to stand in the motherfucking corner with a lampshade over your fucking head. That's not how life works. Okay, we are not going to be evading the truth or evading what our life is bringing us, whether it be bringing us grace or destruction, right? Ill intent or illness or ailments. Do not evade or avoid. Face the shit. This is, it's not a part of my collective, at least energetically my collective, to fold under the pressure. Though the pressure does get to you, you are allowed to be vulnerable. Absolutely. You are allowed to get emotional. Those things, like, it makes me so mad sometimes when people say, don't cry. Or, because I'm not a crier because of those statements like that. Because of people being like, oh, don't do it. People like you are not supposed to cry. People like you are not supposed to cry. You're supposed to be a hard ass motherfucker. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be that rough it and tough it, that rugged, thuggish rogue type energy. You, as a man, you are supposed to maintain calm. But nobody talks about the destruction and like the disaster that goes on internally. When you can't even physically move. You can't even think, because everything in your head has become a tidal wave of indecision, right? I can't make this decision. This is scary. This makes me feel, this makes me feel angry. This makes me feel sad. This makes me feel fucked up. Like, I just can't make decisions. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then it becomes a thing that works against you completely, right? Because you're creating a vortex by not emoting, by not being vulnerable, by not saying how you feel to those who care about you. All right, because you can be real pissed at someone. You can absolutely be real pissed at someone. You might be trying to hide it. You might try to communicate with them how you're feeling, and then be rejected. But even at that rate, right, of feeling rejected, feeling abandoned, that person or that situation does not define everyone. Okay, so you might feel rejected from that person. You might have felt rejected in your past. In your past, you might have felt rejected. In your past, you might have had situations that treated you as if you were nothing. But there is someone and something out there for everyone. There is recognition out there for everyone. You just have to choose how you would like to be portrayed and recognized, and you can control that, okay? And you can control the mask that you put on, right? Because honestly, the mask doesn't do shit for y'all. It really don't. Because, like, okay, I'm pulling this 5 of Wands. It makes people like look up to you, but it also puts on this rough I told y'all, thuggish, ruggish, rogue type energy where you are the strongest. You never falter, right? You are a stonewall, right? You are a stonewall. You're never allowed to emote. We're never going to let you down. You're never going to come off the soapbox. You no matter what, you are the all-powerful almighty. And even when you say that you're fucked up and you're depressed, I'm going to just brush it off my motherfucking shoulders and say, you can handle it by yourself. Because you refuse to be vulnerable. You shut yourself away from vulnerability because it benefits you more, for one, and that's the fucked up part about it, is you think it benefits everyone involved. You think, okay, I'm getting what I want. Just want to be left alone. I don't want anyone to reject, abandon me, make me feel fearful, make me feel angry, make me feel hot-headed, cold, whatever. Like, you try to like shut it out, and you're like, okay, I don't need that. I don't want that. So how about this? I'll just portray myself as this person who has all their shit together, and I got the range. I'm controlling that fucking vortex, that tsunami that comes into my life. I'm a hardcore motherfucker. I'll sit there and I will tell someone what to do, in their life. I'll give them all the advice that they need. I'll show them all the love. I'll be the shoulder that they cry on. I will be that motherfucker that will guide them towards the lessons. Okay? the better decisions in life. But who is supposed to do that for y'all, collective? Who the fuck is supposed to do that for y'all if you can never let yourself down? Never let yourself rest. Never let your hair down. Never let take your do-rag off. Like, who the fuck? Who the fuck are you supposed to be then? Yeah, everyone's therapist, sidekick, dartboard, husband, wife, brother, sister, mother, this, father, whatever. You're all of that. But when are you just allowed to be human and just be you? Vulnerability. Well, I don't know who I am. I've always tried to figure that out. I've always tried to fix myself to each person I've been with. And like I said, I'm very familiar with this, y'all. I'm incredible. I struggle with this shit too. I know I will continue to struggle unless there is a disruption. I need those disruptions in order to notice. Like, yes, I am human. Yes, I am vulnerable. And yes, I am capable of treating myself as so. But sometimes the reminders help, right? Having people around you who reaffirm, okay? Reaffirm, reassert. They give you that necessarily love. They tell you that they love you, or they tell you that you deserve to be, right? Healthy communication. Some of y'all are being surrounded by the King of Cups. People who think you are hot-headed, people who think you are very incredibly emotional and sensitive, but not in the right way. They're just very angry. Like you blow a fucking fuse if like something small goes down, or you blow a fuse. And Three of Cups, they think you're the center. They treat you as the center of attention, right? They treat you as one person that they can go towards. You are their best friend, their best ally, their best everything. But then when it comes to your anger and your emotions, it's too much. Turn off. Just turn off. It's like when somebody say, like, when they're talking to Alexa, and they're like, Alexa, shut the fuck up. Just turn off. They view you as Alexa, that person that is all knowing everything, like at every single moment. But like, what happens when you don't know yourself? What happens when you need the help? What happens when you need not the fixing, because the fixing can't come from anybody but yourself, but you need the suggestion. Power of suggestion. And I just talked about this with somebody. The power of suggestion. It means a lot, right? When we put things out there, when we are able to put words out there, and manifest, or create the perfect culture, the perfect foundation for what we need and what we want, for a situation, right? We're able to directly approach what we need and what we want because we put it out there. It's like that to us feels like a miracle. It feels like luck. It feels like spirit. It feels like everything, but what it truly is, right? Which is you. You create those things for yourself. You are the balance in between that. You are the person holding that situation together. You are the one, receiving these blessings, as we call them, blessings, right? In my mind, it's like you've put the work in. That is why you're receiving that shit. Like, you've put the work in. You've even thought about, like, even thinking about receiving or getting help or getting what you deserve. That in itself is a success. Even if it's not something that's tangible to you, even though to everybody else, it might be the most delusional motherfucking shit. The fact that you think about it, the fact that you own that you think about it, the fact that that's your thought and your emotion, even your imagination, whatever the fuck, you're capable of it. And that's why you think about the shit. You're capable of this shit, right? So Three of Swords, though everyone doubts me, though everybody looks down on me, though everybody in their mama talks about me and talks about how happy-go-lucky I am and how emotional, and this fucker do-rag is gonna be the death of me. Even though everybody is talking shit and being a bad, they're trying to treat it as if I'm a bad person. It's like Nine of Swords. I know there's good things for me though. Like, I know that low-key, it doesn't matter who tries to take a bite out of me. Like, I'm looking at that apple right there. It don't matter who tries to take a bite out of me. It doesn't matter how many people try to label me, try to tell me who I am, what I should eat, what I should wear, how I should, wear my hair, or how I should dress. It don't matter. I always be me. I always come back to that same stage of who I am. And if you yourself, by yourself, are depressed, if you yourself by yourself are self-destructive, if you yourself by yourself is anxious or needy, or you feel bad all the fucking time, then you know it's you yourself who needs to seek out that help, seek out that decisions that will make you better. All right, you can't live vicariously through everyone. You can't live through helping other people. You have to seek out help for you. You cannot always be people's helping hand. You are a giver, right? You are, what they call in the spiritual community, they try to say earth angel, right? Earth angel, as if helping people through their journey is some sort of crazy self-sacrifice, when in reality we all should be helping each other, when in reality we should all give each other that encouragement, when in reality it's like you're either a shit person or you're not, right? You don't need to be an angel. And I know that's putting a lot of weight, that like every time someone tries to call you an earth angel, right, puts a lot of weight on you. It puts a lot of expectation on you. Like, oh, people are expecting me to be that self-sacrificing healer, that person that just gives and gives and gives and gives and never receives, or that person who receives downloads and gets all of these different trickle-down effects of other people's lives and other people's experiences and other people's pain, but I never understand and am able to digest my own pain. That's just not true. As we digest our own pain, new downloads come through. As we get new experiences and as we receive that lens into new experiences, new people and new downloads come through. New individuals approach your life. New instances, new possibilities, new opportunities approach your fucking life. Okay? It's not easy to think positively, and that's why that's also why we constantly are reminded through spirit, though, of positivity. We're constantly reminded that we're capable of it. Like I said, everything that we're capable of will appear in our mind. We will daydream about. We will sit there and we will have these extreme downloads, or we'll have these dreams, right? We'll have these crazy dreams, just like you're asleep, and then you wake up and you feel very, very heavy. You feel very, possibly sweaty. And some of us, it's like your brain is always on. It's like never turned off. Not even when you sleep. You're always tired because you're constantly, like I said, thinking of how to solve other people's fucking issues and problems. And that should be something by now that you should have a hold on in your own life, right? Before you end up either overstepping boundaries, or someone else triggers you. Someone else oversteps boundaries. Someone else pushes you towards that direction. Don't you also deserve like a personal life that you can be happy with? Right, that's one thing that I think collective kind of pushes themselves into, is like you push yourself into this corner of like, I am one with planet Earth, or I am one with everybody else, or I am just like everybody else. I know there's a lot of people in my situation. You generalize your own experience. You generalize your own special experience because everyone has their own special ways of living life. You generalize. And even though your lessons might be simple, even though you're the shit you've been through might have been simple, the shit that's humbled you, right? It's valid. All of it is valid. All of it is an experience. All of it is a worthy of being a human experience. And so when you devalue yourself because you say other people have been through it, or other people have been through worse situations, other people suffer, it's like, or other people are currently going through suffering. How are you supposed to help those people? You're not helping anybody by devaluing your own stress, your own trauma, your own neglect. You're not helping anybody. Eight of Swords, yeah, you're not helping anybody by being the like, what are you, taking the upper hand, or like you're trying to be like the underdog type character. It's like that's what you're trying to be when you say those types of things. It's like, well, other people have been through worse than me, and you try to limit your emotional response, your vulnerability. That's just doesn't, you can't, that checkers beat chess type shit. It's like everyone views their own experiences, their own trauma, their own neglect and abuse, and their own rejections through their own eyes. So you can't weigh yours against anybody's, because yours feels the way it does to you and not to them. You can explain it to them And they may never understand, because that is your experience alone as a human being. That is your experience alone. Just yours. That is what you claim that. That's something you claim. Though you didn't want it to happen, we don't always have control of things, and we can't always be on point with our emotions and our reactions and with our future and with, especially with getting help. Those are things that you claim that you have control over. You claim those motherfucking things, right? You don't weigh your odds against, well, this person had it worse, or this person had it rougher, or this situation is rougher than mine, or I've seen people in rougher situations. You know, like I said, living vicariously through other people, you're like, I couldn't even imagine that happening to me. You know, now that I look at my life, it couldn't have been that bad. That's just not how shit works, baby. That's not how it works. It was bad, and it was bad to you, and it was fucked up to you. And even if it's as simple as what someone said, right? Even if it's as simple as what someone never said to you, never got the chance to say to you, it's fucked up. It is. Don't pretend it's not. Your life is fucked up. Your situation has been fucked up. You've had to hide how fucked up it was. You've had to hide that. Because in reality, people don't want to acknowledge that they fucked you up. And even when they do acknowledge it, they continue on as if nothing ever really happened. Right? Instead of apologizing, instead of, accepting that they have work to do, or accepting the responsibility of something that heavy, they'll sit there and act like nothing ever happened. Like the ground zero, like, okay, it is what it is. Like, you went through it, or get over it, or whatever the fuck they try to say, right? Especially in the black community, but in a lot of you realize this is not just a black community thing. This is a lot of communities, and of course we see it in communities that look against like mental stability. Basically, no matter what, you put the food on the fucking table, you put the money on the fucking table, no matter what, you go to school, no matter what you get in education, it doesn't matter how bad you're feeling, it doesn't matter how fucked up you're feeling, it doesn't matter how fucked up your life is, you go down this path of events to produce the most monetary value, or produce the most visual success, physical success, and you will somehow be happy through that. Somehow you'll grow happiness right out your motherfucking ass, right? Somehow you'll become happy through that. But this is what's wrong. This is essentially what's wrong with that, right? The only person who can find happiness for themselves, mentally, emotionally, and physically, is you. Okay? People can't tell you how to handle your happiness, because what makes you happy is all up to you. What makes you feel successful is all up to you. And ground zero, what makes you feel, right? How you feel cannot be argued. Fact might be argued, right? We can argue the facts of situations. We can argue the logistics. We can argue that, I don't want to go to college because college is boring. We can argue that, I don't want to do this because I don't want to put my child in daycare because I don't trust any daycare workers, because all daycare workers are this way, that way, or I don't want to, go to this family dinner because I already know how it's going to end up, or you can argue the facts of situations, because everything is pretty wobbly and wishy-washy in life in general, because not every single time is going to be the same, especially because people change just with time. They get older, they get dumber, and at times they get very, very, self-reflective. So not everybody's the same always, but what never changes is your feelings. Right? Your emotions. It doesn't suck. And it's not a shitty thing to admit that you're still angry, that you're still mad, that you're still frustrated, that you're still feeling abandoned or ignored or sad, and just overall you're not feeling like yourself, or you're not feeling the best. Those things are okay to admit, because those are emotions. And your emotions won't change until you do. Until you become aware, until you try to control, until you look at yourself, right? Not having, Not that having a partner and a lover or, you know, school and all that shit isn't important, because that's definitely, it's important. But when you're in a state in your life where you don't even know who the fuck you are, like you doubt your own existence, there's so much more for you and so much work that would make you feel like you would get praise just by even uttering the words, I need help, or I need to, I know there's people in your life that would probably use that against you, okay? Like the Hierophant. I know there's not many teachers in your life, and I know you're the main teacher. I know you're the person in the family, the black sheep in the family, the person who has done so much for others and never received. I know you're that person that literally gets singled out, or, you know, kind of always left behind. In a way, like for some reason that I heard the words globetrotter. So globetrotter couldn't just be like, you know, somebody who always, you know, you're at a distance from yourself. And because you're at a distance from yourself and understanding yourself, you're kind of like a conduit. Like you're somewhere off in your head, basically. Like you could be anywhere. You could be on the islands. You could be in fucking Japan. You could be in Italy in your head. Just your body is left behind, right? Your body is left behind as a conduit, as a conduit for everyone else's pain, everyone else's struggles, everyone else's self-centered narcissism. Everyone's struggles become your struggles. Everyone's pain becomes your pain. Everyone's children become your children. Everybody's parents become your parents. It's like every painful point in someone's life becomes your painful point. And that's what being an empath is like, but that's also what being dissociated from your life is like. There's some people who are be like, oh, at one point I was an empath. At one point I was very emotional, but suddenly I lost it. I lost the ability. No, you didn't lose the ability to be empathetic. That's not what you lost. You did not lose the ability to be empathetic. You didn't. You gained self-consciousness. You gain the consciousness enough to stand up for yourself and to look at yourself and be like, I cannot be guided and dictated and controlled by other people's thoughts, emotions, in shitty situations. I cannot be a victim for everybody else. I can't be a therapist for everybody else or a doctor for everybody else. I need to help myself. I need to be better, right? I need to be better for me, not for anybody else but me, right? Some of y'all did get better for other people in your life, but you know, with children and stuff like that. But that's beyond the point, because at the end of the day, you're also still helping yourself, right? You're still helping yourself, and that, like I said, self-sacrifice is so heavy with this energy. I just want to be direct, because to be in this kind of energy, especially as we're approaching another year, can sometimes also feel like you're failing, right? Or I'm a failure, or I'm stuck because I'm failing at everything, or I'm stuck because I'm not on the right path. But that's not always the case, right? It's not always the case. Sometimes what we view as like the physical right path and what we view as the path in our mind is incredibly different. And when you're mentally and emotionally suffering, or being ignored, or not feeling content, that can disrupt the physical path. So you might be on the physical path that you're meant to be on. You might be doing the things that you need to do. You might be working. You might be going to school. You might be doing all the things that you've always wanted to do, traveling, all this, and still not feeling satisfied, because your emotional and your emotional state and your basically your discipline when it comes to your own emotions in your head. The PTSD, the feelings of abandonment and regret, just swimming and anger, swimming, like all of that, though it can be avoided, it will never leave you until you deal with it hands on, like very, very directly. And I think, like, though you're on the right physical path, it's definitely slowed you down. Some of y'all, like, even though you're literally on that path, it's slowed you down significantly, to the point where now you can't avoid it. You can't not notice. Okay, you can't not keep wearing the armor and pretending like everything's okay, everything's fine, like you're the superhero, you're the knight, you know, the knight in shining armor for everybody. Like, no, you can't ignore it no more. No, now the time's approaching where what is best for you it's gonna be to dismantle the belief that you don't deserve everything you're trying to go after, right? There is no competition unless you're competing against yourself. Okay? There's no competing with emotions. You feel heavily. You feel angry. You feel sad. You feel cold. You feel empty. There's no competing with that. And because you feel those things, and even if people, like I said, have rejected the idea of you feeling those things, you still feel those things. Go after what you deserve. Help yourself. Whether it be therapy, workbooks. I even see cards every once in a while now. I see these cards of like self-empowerment, self-improvement. It's the smallest of things, right? It's the smallest of things that you don't believe are significant. It's like hearing those words or seeing those words written down, like you are powerful. You are strong. You do deserve happiness. You do deserve love. You do deserve light. You do deserve fulfillment. Seeing those things even written down in your space, you know, it's affirmations, right? Self-affirmations. It does cause significant difference. I've tried sleep therapy. That's something where I have, you know, I have experience in that sleep therapy has actually helped me significantly with self-trust, with confidence. And of course, it's all work subconsciously because I'm listening to someone else's voice as I'm sleeping. But it has put me into the space continuously, again and again, you know, when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling frustrated or when I can't sleep and I'm restless and everything's spinning. It's put me in a place to believe that I deserve, you know, the time to relax, the time to lay down, the time to even be tired in the fucking first place. It's like some people are like, I can't afford to be tired, or I can't afford to rest. I can't afford to do this. I can't. Yes, you can, and you should, because experiencing burnout sometimes is the worst. It's like a, you know, it's like a, what is it? It's like a wet dream type shit. You spoil the wet dream. It's like, okay, you're having a great time, you're having a great dream, or you're having really beautiful sex, and then one motherfucking thing, whether it be the, you know, the garlic, bitch got garlic breath or something in her teeth or something like that, whatever's going on, it just spoils the whole fucking mood, and you're just done. Now you can't finish whatever you started, because at the end of the day, every single time that you go through an aspect of burnout, you're burning out your emotions. You're putting out your own light. You're putting out your own potential. You're putting out your own fire. You're becoming a issue in a wall to yourself. Like I said, you are your biggest competition. There is nobody out here that can compete with you. Okay? There just isn't. Not emotionally. Those are all real. Those are all you. But collective, I think I should wrap this up. Though for me, this has been a great session because at the end of the day, I think more or less as we talk about self-help and the aspect of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual fulfillment, it's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows. But I'm here through all that shit. It don't fucking matter, you know. It doesn't matter if I take a fucking month off, a year off, whatever the fuck I gotta do in order to get my messages out, because I want other people to know these things. It's something that I have pushed heavily in from the beginning, and I want to continue to do that. And I will continue to do that. Okay? All right, collective. I see y'all.